Welcome back to Celebrating Senior Shutterbugs. Today, we are picking up where we left off, interviewing Pulitzer Prize winner David Hume Kennerly. In the last segment, David told us about the world of political and magazine photography, and what it takes to be a photographer in those fields. In today's segment, we will hear more advice, this time geared towards beginner and intermediate photographers, no matter what age. From a Gen Z 22-year-old like myself to an 80-year-old senior citizen, this advice can help anyone looking to break into the world of photography. David then shares insight about breaking into the income-generating paths photography has to offer. David also tells us what he's been up to recently and about the camera gear he's been using over the last few years. David, in my research before the interview, I came across a blog post you made called the 100-Minute Peer Shoot. In the post, you challenged yourself to shoot 20 or more unique photos in less than 100 minutes. I'm curious to know, do you have any other challenges or advice meant to push photographers out of their comfort zone and improve their skills?
During COVID, I started a Facebook page called the Kennerly Photo Fitness Workout. It was like photograph something that you look at every day but don't see, and which is a great way to learn how to take pictures or to overcome familiarity and just kind of take a breath to come up with a fresh perspective. The difference between professional photographers and camera users is you have to see things with a fresh approach, which is hard as you get older, but it's doable. It's kept me going, and anybody else who's in this business would tell you the same thing.
What would you say to someone who is trying to break into the income-generating field of photography?
If you have the passion for it, you should do it. I mean, you'll never forgive yourself if you don't try. And I can't tell you how to get a job now, but what it really boils down to is finding someone who will pay you to take pictures. I think you have to certainly get your work out there, and everybody has it at their fingertips, and I think if you're really good at it, you can break through.
And for anyone with a foot already in the door and who has gotten their photos noticed, what would you advise in order to gain an edge over the competition?
So one of the reasons I do well in this business is because I do research. So when I go photograph somebody, I know a lot about them. I read things that they've written, and not because I'm going to interview them even. It just gives you an advantage over other people. The more you know, the better off you are, and it can work. It's helped me get into the room on a lot of occasions.
Thank you for sharing your advice, David. Could you tell us a little more about the cameras you like to use and whether there's any photo equipment you rely on?
I am a passionate Canon user. I'm using the EOS Mark IIs. Is that right? Or no, Mark IV? What is it? God, I just hold on. Hey, I just happen to have one here. See, I got my long lens. Yeah, it's the R5 Mark II, and all the RF lenses. And I've been a Canon user now. I'm coming up on since 1995, and I'm called what they call now for the older set Canon Legend, and I I like being a legend in my own mind apparently, but Canon gave me another 20 years of existence as a photographer, and back then it was the autofocus really had just started. And that was a huge benefit. My eyesight's always been pretty good, but the autofocus, they had it best out of the box. I'm not a camera geek, so I really don't care about them that much, other than they work. And I don't have to have the latest thing unless it's superior to what I already own, which is why I have the Mark IIs. And switch, but I mean, these things are like trying to fly a jetliner. In my old Nikon F, you got your shutter speed and you got your f stops, and that's it. and be there. That was all there was to it. So, yeah.
You've had quite an illustrious career, David, and you've told us about many of your accomplishments and experiences over the last few segments. Would you be able to tell us a little more about what you've been up to recently?
I used to be a shitty golfer, and I'm not even doing that now. But what I really like doing is photographing birds, but not obsessively. I'm not like a psychopathic bird photographer. I just enjoy it. It's challenging and it's fun, and I'm not like keeping track of everything I do. Although from where I'm sitting right here, I have a view out into my front yard, which is a modest front yard, but I have a bird feeder, a hummingbird feeder, and a fountain. The only ones I keep track of are the ones I shoot from here. Like over 50 different kinds of birds have come through.
Thank you for sharing your photography insight, based on 60 years in this ever-changing world, David. And thank you also for taking the time to be a part of this interview series and working with us to make sure it all came together smoothly. You are an inspiration to not just photographers and journalists, but to all those who wish to see the world for what it is, along with everything happening in it. Your decades of documentation have provided so much to their viewers, from the grim realities of war and the faces of countless political movements, all the way to some of the most beautiful places and people on Earth, which give hope to us all. You have shown that no matter what age, we are able to teach and learn from each other across generations, which is the ultimate mission of celebrating senior shutterbugs. I believe that your knowledge of photography and life in general have a special place for teaching young people in our digital age, as well as elders who lived in a world that is completely different from today's in so many ways. We hope to shine a light on the fact that discounting and discarding our elders is not only unfair to them, but also to those their knowledge may help. So once again, thank you, David. Your decades of experience and all you have shared with us make you a shining example of why we should always continue celebrating senior shutterbugs. To anyone who has yet to see the rest of our segments, I invite you to take a look, as David's life experiences have been nothing short of astounding. David has told us all about how he got his start as a photographer, his experience at Jonestown in 1978, turning photography into a real career, being sent to cover the India-Pakistan War early in his time at United Press International, his time photographing the Vietnam War, winning his Pulitzer while he was still in Vietnam, his time as the official White House photographer, and his experience taking photographs for Time and Life magazines. This segment is the 7th and final in our interview series with David. You may soon encounter some bonus segments, such as David giving us a brief history on past White House photographers, dating back to Lyndon B. Johnson. It's quite an interesting look back. We hope you will be on the lookout for these upcoming segments, as well as his upcoming book, In the Room, which will be coming out this October. David still has an incredible amount of knowledge to share with us all. We will also be meeting many other world-renowned senior shutterbugs in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s in future interview series. The message of each interview will be to tribute our senior shutterbugs, who help us understand the present with their knowledge of the past, preparing us for the future. Each senior shutterbug deserves celebration, which is the central mission of the Celebrating Senior Shutterbugs YouTube channel. You won't want to miss any of it, so stay tuned as we continue celebrating senior shutterbugs.